Democrats are recalibrating on immigration, now having joined with Republicans on a new GOP-led bill. Many think immigration and being soft on the border, myself included with that opinion, was one of the major reasons the Dems lost the recent election, both the White House and both chambers of Congress, of course. So they're showing signs at least they're open to changing course. Scores of Democrats are supporting the first bill to hit the floor of both GOP-led chambers this year, the Laken Riley Act, named for 22-year-old Georgia nursing student Laken Riley, who was murdered last year by an immigrant in the U.S. illegally. This is a significant step for this bill, putting it on the verge of passage, and would mark an early win for one of the Republicans' major issues. The legislation would require ICE to take custody of people in the country illegally and detain them over theft-related crimes. It would target people who are charged, arrested, or convicted of committing an act of burglary, theft, larceny, or shoplifting, according to the bill's text. The bill passed the House 264 to 159 earlier this week, with 48 Democrats voting for it. And on Thursday, it moved forward in the Senate by a vote of 84 to 9. Voters who said immigration was a top issue for them went 89% to 9%, according to an NBC News exit poll the day of the election, saying that they thought Trump would be much better on immigration and border issues than Harris. Those are wild numbers. The bill is not for sure going to gain final approval in the Senate if amendments aren't made to satisfy enough Senate Democrats. And the support is just to advance the bill currently for consideration, debate, and possible amendments, like I said. But it also shows perhaps an acceptance of the seeming reality on the ground that voters no longer want to support a party that does not prioritize our nation's security and safety. Several pro-immigration groups have sharply criticized the bill, but some Democrats say they've fallen out of touch with voters on the issue and led the party astray. Quote, I think for a long time, Democrats have let the advocacy groups push them to the left on immigration and border security issues, pushing them to oppose even popular immigration and border security reforms because it could lead to any deportation, close quote, according to a Senate Democratic aide. Quote, this past election showed that's not where the majority of Americans are at, and that Dems need to be clear they are against criminals, even if that means deporting an undocumented immigrant who committed a crime, close quote. So is this politics, or does this represent a genuine shift in the party's position on immigration? Asked by CNN's Manu Raju if the politics on immigration have shifted for Democrats, Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman said, quote, I hope for our party, I hope it has shifted, adding he wasn't trying to be critical, but was following what I think is my truth. Fetterman also said he thinks there's enough Democratic support to pass the bill. Quote, if we as a party, as Democrats, we can't come up with 7 or 8 votes, and I would describe that as one of the reasons why we lost. One controversial but under the radar provision of the legislation would give state attorneys general the authority to sue in federal court over the decisions by federal officials, including immigration judges, to release certain immigrants from detention. They could also sue to force the State Department to impose visa sanctions against countries that refuse to accept nationals that are eligible for deportation. I personally believe that we can have humane policies that respect human beings coming here for a better life, as we must do, because that is a key tenet of our nation and just the right thing to do. But at the same time, can prioritize the essential need to keep us all safe and feeling safe. But it will, of course, be a tricky balancing act in the years to come, as the incoming Trump administration plans go far beyond that. And as advertised, will be a draconian, inhumane approach to addressing the massive number of undocumented immigrants we have here in our country. Also, just as an important reminder, people coming to this country are not eating the dogs or eating the cats of the people who live here. Let's go to Jackson for your thoughts.
I'm curious to see, like, if this is anything more than posturing, because the bill's supposed to detain people who, are guilty of theft and stuff like that, but that already happens. If you come over here and you commit a crime like that, you're going to get picked up. If you commit a crime in this country and you get caught, even if you're a citizen, getting caught is the thing. And there really doesn't seem to be that much difference policy-wise between Democrats and Republicans when it comes to dealing with immigration issues. Obama was named the deporter in chief, and there really wasn't that much difference other than, like the separating children from parents. Even that went on a little bit more under Biden. When we really look at how it's handled, there doesn't really seem to be that much difference. Also, of course, much of the economy depends on immigrants, whether it's H-1Bs so that people like Elon Musk can pay them less, or if they're people who want to, like, do stuff in agriculture, service jobs, construction jobs that Americans don't want to work. So, like a lot of the issues with immigration, like for the Democrats from a public perception, seem to just be how they talk about it and how they address it. Because when you really look, there doesn't seem to be that much difference. And of course, lastly, the real issue is why people are coming here in the first place. I mean, no matter what country you're in, if you're doing relatively well, people are gonna, come there for tourism or want to move there. Americans move overseas all the time. Everybody does this. People are particularly coming here from our southern border a lot because of our drug laws. The drug war, the cartels, all of that being fueled by this crackhead ass nation. You know what I'm saying? So like we can't stop doing drugs, and our laws really just make it such that it's easy to get your hands on illegal substances. So, and also too the coups that we've had in Latin American countries and what have you. So our foreign policy has a lot to do with this. Our domestic policy with drugs has a lot to do with this. And of course, we're not actually addressing that issue. So other than that, this is just kind of a lot of noise.
I think the danger that this bill really presents is that it goes beyond people who are convicted of crimes. It is people who are accused or charged, which sets up a system in which police or immigration officials can racially profile people, wrongfully accuse someone. And this bill, if passed, would mandate the detention of those people. It patently violates due process. And then when you go a step further, what does that look like? Well, let's look at the family detention centers as like the absurdity of that term in itself on the border, like Cardens County, Texas, where people who are here seeking asylum status are held indefinitely and without due process rights. No clear timeline for when they might have a hearing. Again, these are families, if they are together, effectively in jail, mistreated. And let's apply that to this. So if they are held in jails, we know it's going to be miserable. If they are held in new detention centers, it's going to be miserable, and they will still have their due process rights violated in other steps where they try to prove their innocence. So it is an extrajudicial way of cracking down on immigrants where people of color or marginalized people are the victims, and we have this kind of punitive approach to what many people believe is a problem that should be handled humanely. Like you're saying, Ben, we should address the humanity in the issue here. They're coming here to contribute. They're coming here to help. And you're setting up a system where people who didn't do anything wrong could get ensnared by it. So I hope there are enough Dems to kill this. But when you see things like Fetterman's comments, oh, I hope there's a shift. Why are you ceding ground to the right on immigration when they're already showing you it's going to be even worse than Trump's first term?
Yeah, I think you make some really interesting and really good points, Jordan. I think that is definitely the risk of this bill and a bill like it is very much that people will be detained extrajudiciously. I think that the Democrats are supporting this, are trying to do so sort of as like a new reality peace offering, as it were, to say, look, we will go with you on a change to be harsher, but hopefully then that will stop at the water's edge, will stop there and won't continue into the more draconian policies that they'll be pushing for once Trump takes office. I hear you on the extrajudicial. I think just the counterpoint to that seems to be the reality for the vast majority of people in this country now, is that yes, that would detain people here illegally, extrajudiciously, but being here illegally is also extrajudiciously. It's against the laws of the country. It's not following the structure either. So I think the message that they are trying to send is, if you're here without respect for our laws, then you may be detained without respect for due process. Not that that is a good thing to do, but I think that is the reality that a lot of people are indicating through the ballot box that they want.
Yeah, I just want to close out to say, one of the important things that both of y'all have addressed is the Democrats, a lot of the country too, the media sphere, but the Democrats seem to believe that Trump has a mandate when he does not. Um, he won by 1.4, 1.5 percentage points. More people voted against him than for him if you count in the third party candidates. His approval rating right now is like 42%. It almost certainly isn't going to go higher than that. He hasn't even taken office yet. And he's like, how about we just take Canada and Greenland and the Panama Canal and let's invade Mexico and let's just take everything from everybody and nobody's going to have a problem with it. So, it's very telling of how this is going to go. We've already been through it once. So I think the public is definitely going to rise up, but we got to get new people in office at the end of the day. A lot of them are literally 84, 85 years old, so their time has come as it is. We just need better, more progressive candidates in office, and I think that we have a good opportunity to do that in the coming midterms.
Yeah, let's hope for that. And I think the quote of the day has to go to you, Jackson, for referring to America as this crackhead ass country. I never would have put it that way myself, but I do see your point.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.